Hello, my name is Navigator, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at 3 of the Hasbro Plasma Series Ghostbusters action figures, that being the slimed version of Egon Spangler, Winston Zedmore, and Ray Stantz. You can see I have a 4th figure here. That is because I do already own the Venkman figure from this line. I got this a couple years back now when it was, the 35th anniversary, I think it was. And I picked this up, and I always wanted to complete the rest of the collection, and fortunately this Christmas I was able to. So it's a long time coming. We have Venkman here, and we have a bunch of these other guys here as well. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at the boxes really quick first, and then we'll get into the figures. So to start off with, we have Winston's box here. They're pretty much all the same. Here are some of the other guys in the line. Like I said, I already have Venkman, and now we have Winston and Ray. So I guess I'll still need Gozer, Dana, and the Egon from this wave to complete the Vince Clortho dog. But I do have a couple of the pieces of that, so I don't know. I'm not really looking to complete that too much. Look at Egon's box here. You can see there's a little bit of difference with kind of the slime effect on there. And I think that, yeah, it does glow in the dark. So that is a feature with that figure, which would be really cool. So the other ones in this line, just kind of all of them, but slimed, I guess you could say. And then finally, we have Ray's box here. Pretty much the same as Winston's. So there you go. Just says Ray Stantz instead. And then I can probably bring Peter back right up here. All right, so to start off with, we'll go left to right. We can go with this slimed version of Egon, and this one obviously has some differences. The first one to start off with is just the green slime effect that has kind of taken over this figure. It's not all over, which is nice, but there are just enough that it kind of works for this figure. I'm going to be very brief with these guys. A lot of them have kind of just the same getup here, so we'll just do a brief overview, but they obviously have black boots, black gloves, and the tan jumpsuit. And you can see that there's boot articulation there as well, double jointed articulation on the knees as well as the elbows, which we'll get to in a second. We'll kind of just take a quick look through here. You got the goo tube there, the equipment belt that has everything. I'm not sure if the radio is removable. Let's find out. Is it molded on there? Yeah, it looks like it's molded on there. So I think that radio is stuck in there. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting that out. But they do the nice equipment belt, which is very cool. Elbow pads in the back there. Black gloves, like I said. And it's kind of that G.I. Joe classified, Star Wars The Black Series, Hasbro-esque mold and everything. So you're kind of getting the same things with those figures. But the cool thing with these is they actually have some, minute butterfly articulation, which is very nice, especially for the Proton Pack and all the accessories. But the final thing you can see here is Spangler on the what is that, the breast patch, and then the Harold Ramis head sculpt here with a little bit of slime effect as well, which is very nice, and the Ghostbusters logo on the shoulder there. So we do have that. The Proton Pack also has some slime effects, which is really cool, but this kind of came separate, and you can actually, take off or put on the neutrino wand there if you really wanted to, but these are really cool. I do love the detail on these, and you can kind of snap the harness in there. You just put it over the figure like this, and you might as well just kind of equip them as we go through it, but pretty much all you're doing is throwing the arm in that side, bringing that over the head, pushing the arm through, and then for the most part, that's it. I did find trouble with my Venkman figure closing this gap on the side there, but I think that with Egon, because he's just a little bit slimmer, we can kind of seal that there. So there you go. Proton Pack fits on there very nice, and there's actually a peg in the Proton Pack that will slide into the figure to make it stay on there. I like that better than the Mattel or the Diamond Select versions of these figures. And sorry, I'm trying to get to focus here, but these ones just better articulation, better sculpt, better detail, and the accessories, that's the word I'm looking for, stay on them a lot better as opposed to those other versions. So we have Egon there, and the final thing that he came with is just going to be the neutrino blast here, and this one is glow in the dark as well, which is very cool, as opposed to the one that we get with Winston here. So I think you can honestly just slide that onto the neutrino wand like that, and it'll stay pretty well. So that accessory is very self-explanatory. I'm trying to think. There's really nothing else to go over with Venkman, I guess you could say. I mean, this isn't really a review. I got this thing like years ago, but yeah, just in case anybody was curious about Venkman. But let's move on to Winston here. We do have what would this be, the right leg of Vince Clortho. So we have that, a nice Build-A-Figure piece, and I guess I'll just get Ray's over with Muller here. This would be the left leg as well. Not bad. Again, I don't plan on building that figure out though, so I'm not too concerned with it. All right, yeah, let's move on to Winston here. Again, same deal with the boots and everything. The only difference I should say though, and this is a good continuity, thing from the movie, is that Peter Venkman is the only one that does not tuck his pants in his boots. And you can see here, all the other guys, they have their boots tucked in except for Peter. So that's a nice little detail there. But yeah, so you can see Winston here has the boots tucked in, the same as Egon, same equipment belt and everything, the goo tube. The radio doesn't come out there. On the lapel, of course, it says Zedmore. Same gloves and everything, of course, missing that SLIMED effect. And then you can see here that awesome Ernie Hudson head sculpt. I think he looks a little bit older than he was in the movie, but it still looks great. I've met Ernie Hudson once. I wrote to him when I was a kid and got an autograph, but I really wish that I had this figure when I had met him. I would have loved to have gotten this figure signed. But we do have Winston there. Same proton pack, of course, minus that slime effect, but there is a lot of detail on there. And we can throw this on him as well. Let's see, where was that little thing? It's on the side there. Yeah. Let's pop this open if I can. Beautiful. And we will slide this onto Mr. Zedmore here. Let's go. I'm so surprised that there is butterfly articulation with these figures. And sorry, he's kind of a pain putting this on, but it just really adds to it. I think it's just such a great detail for these figures, is to add just all that articulation. It just makes these, at least in my opinion, the quintessential 6-inch Ghostbusters action figures. There were those Mezco ones that came out a couple years back, I think maybe for like the 30th anniversary or something, but there you go. He's got the proton pack on. Looks great. But this is just great. For the price point, at least when they came out, and everything else, I really think that these are just the best, and I apologize not focusing here, but I'll bring something into view. We do have that Neutrino Blast, and this is kind of that traditional one, the orange and the blue, and that looks awesome. I cannot wait to display these. So we do have that. And then finally here we have Ray Stan, so we'll bring him into view. Same deal as Winston and Egon, of course, again, missing that slime effect, but the same deal. Butterfly, does he have? Oh yeah, he does have butterfly. Okay, he's got that there. Says Stance on the breast there. He's got a black t-shirt on. Yeah, the rest of the guys have the black t-shirt on under there as well. As you can see, yeah, pretty nice. And then there's that Dan Aykroyd head sculpt, which looks great. I do love that. And Ray, of course, comes with those kind of ecto goggles. And you can throw those on him somewhat simply, I think. But there we go. We have that as well. And then his proton pack, I'll just save putting it on. I think you guys get the point by now. But folks, that is going to be a review of the, we'll just call it all 4 Ghostbusters. Why not? Because I threw Peter in there. A review of the Ghostbusters plasma series from Hasbro action figures. I don't know, let me start over there. This is a review of the Hasbro Ghostbusters the Plasma series, Peter Venkman, Egon Spangler, Winston Zedmore, and Ray Stantz action figures. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ghostbusters is my favorite franchise of all time. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and I'm just very thankful that I'm able to complete this set of figures. So that's it, folks. As always, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.